You think you know someone until they show you exactly who they are when money gets tight. 2 weeks ago, I made the mistake of asking my wife a simple question about our credit card statement. $847 in 1 month, all at trendy restaurants, boutique stores, and that new rooftop bar downtown where her friends like to pretend they're living in a music video. I wasn't even angry when I brought it up. I sat down with the statement on a Sunday morning, coffee in hand, and said, "Hey, can we talk about this? We're saving for the house repairs, and I'm seeing some pretty big charges here. Simple enough, right?" Wrong. She looked at me like I'd asked her to explain quantum physics. Then came the explosion. "Are you seriously going to micromanage every dollar I spend?" "I work too. I deserve to have fun with my friends. You're being controlling, and honestly, it's not attractive. Controlling. For asking about nearly $900 in restaurant bills and shopping sprees while we've got a leaky roof and a car payment due. But sure, I'm the problem." That was the moment she decided I didn't exist anymore. And I mean that literally. For 2 solid weeks, I became a ghost in my own house. She'd wake up, get ready for work, and walk past me like I was furniture. If I said good morning, I'd get a grunt if I was lucky. Dinner time. She'd heat something up for herself and eat it while scrolling through her phone, posting pictures of her latest purchases with captions like, "Treating myself because I deserve it." The silent treatment wasn't new, but this time felt different, calculated. She was making a point. And the point was clear. Question her spending, and you get frozen out until you apologize and hand over the cards. Here's what she didn't expect. I stopped trying to break the ice. No more "how was your day?" No more attempts at conversation. Two can play that game, and I've got more patience than she thinks. The real kicker came last Tuesday when I overheard her on the phone with her mother planning an elaborate birthday dinner. "Yeah, I made reservations at that new steakhouse downtown, the one with the private dining room. I invited everyone, you, Dad, my brother and his wife, the cousins. It's going to be perfect." Notice what was missing from that conversation. Any mention of her husband, the guy who'd be expected to pick up the tab for this perfect celebration. She planned an entire birthday party and didn't even pretend I existed, let alone ask if I wanted to be there. I looked the place up. Dinner for 15 runs about $60 a person minimum, plus drinks, plus tip. Close to $1,000 for one night, right after she'd already blown through $800 the month before. But apparently, questioning this makes me controlling. Thursday night, she finally spoke to me directly for the first time in 13 days. "My birthday dinner is Saturday at 7. Try not to embarrass me." Then she walked away before I could respond. Try not to embarrass her. After 2 weeks of being treated like I didn't deserve basic human decency in my own house, she had the nerve to talk about embarrassment. That's when I made my decision. Saturday afternoon, while she was getting ready upstairs, I grabbed my keys and left. No explanation, no argument, no drama. I drove to a sports bar across town, ordered a burger and a beer, and watched the game. For the first time in 2 weeks, I felt peaceful. My phone stayed silent until 7:30. Then it started ringing. The first call went to voicemail while I was halfway through my burger. The second call I answered. "Where the hell are you?" Her voice was sharp, but I heard panic underneath it. "I'm having dinner," I said calmly, taking another bite. "What do you mean you're having dinner?" "You're supposed to be here. Everyone's asking where you are." I could hear voices in the background, the clinking of glasses, the hum of a crowded restaurant. Her perfect birthday dinner was happening without the guy footing the bill. "Well, that's interesting," I said, "because for the past 2 weeks you've made it pretty clear that I don't exist. So I figured I'd save everyone the trouble and just not exist somewhere else tonight." "Get down here right now," she hissed. "This is not the time for your petty games." Petty games. After 14 days of silence, cold shoulders, and being treated like a walking ATM, she thought this was about games. "You called me controlling for asking about $800, I said, watching the basketball on the screen above the bar. "You said you deserve to have fun." "Well, guess what? I deserve to have fun too. And tonight my fun doesn't include celebrating someone who doesn't celebrate me." There was a long pause. I could hear her moving away from the table. "Everyone is staring at me," she said, frantic. "You're making me look like an idiot." "I'm not making you look like anything," I replied. "You planned this whole dinner without including me in any conversation. You invited 15 people to an expensive restaurant and just assumed I'd show up to pay for it after 2 weeks of pretending I don't exist. You made your choice. Fine, she snapped. If you want to be childish and ruin my birthday, that's on you. I don't expect you to forget anything, I said. I expect you to explain to your family why your husband isn't at your birthday dinner. That should be interesting. Then I hung up. My phone buzzed with 3 text messages. You're being ridiculous. Everyone thinks something's wrong with us. Just come down here and we'll talk later. I turned my phone face down and ordered another beer. I could picture exactly what was happening at that table. Her parents confused. Her brother asking questions. Cousins whispering. Her coming up with excuses that didn't make her look bad while also not admitting she'd been giving me the silent treatment for 2 weeks. Around 8:15, my phone rang again. Different number. Her brother. Hey, man, he said. She asked me to call you. Says you had some kind of fight. The whole table's feeling awkward. I respected the guy for trying. He'd always been decent to me. We didn't have a fight, I told him. We haven't spoken in 2 weeks. She decided I didn't deserve basic conversation in my own house. So I decided she didn't deserve my presence at her party. 2 weeks? He said. That's not normal. No, it's not. I told him the truth. Told him about the $847 in 1 month, the rooftop bar, the boutique charges, and the house repairs we were supposed to be saving for. Told him about the phone call I overheard. Told him she'd planned a $1,000 dinner without mentioning me. He was quiet. Man, that's not normal, he said again. I'm not lending her anything without talking to you first. After that call, something shifted. For 2 weeks, I'd been the bad guy in her story. The controlling husband who dared to question her spending. But with her family sitting around that table asking where I was, she had to actually explain her behavior. And that explanation was going to be interesting. When I got home around 10, her car wasn't in the driveway. She didn't come home until after midnight. When she did, she went straight upstairs without saying a word. The silent treatment was back. But this time it felt different. She wasn't punishing me. She was avoiding me. And that meant I was winning. Sunday morning, her mother called. I was making coffee when I saw her name on the screen. Good morning, I answered. Her voice had that careful tone people use when they're fishing for information. How are you feeling? Great, I said. How are you? She admitted last night felt strange. Her daughter was on edge, checking her phone, getting defensive when people asked about me. When I told her everything, the silence, the charges, the dinner she planned without me, she said quietly, that's not how marriage works. Hearing it from someone else confirmed what I already suspected. This wasn't normal and it wasn't okay. Her mom agreed. Silent treatment isn't how grown-ups handle disagreements. That call made me feel lighter. 2 weeks of doubt were suddenly replaced by clarity. Later, her brother called me during the week. He told me she had asked him for $1,500 for an emergency car repair. When he pressed for details, she was vague and defensive. When I checked our account, there was no car repair. There was a $430 boutique charge from yesterday. She'd lied about needing money for repairs to go shopping, and she'd been asking her family for cash while not speaking to me. Her world was shrinking. Her mother was asking questions. Her brother was fact-checking. She was running out of people to manipulate. Wednesday evening, she broke her silence for the second time in 3 weeks. We need to talk, she said while I was making dinner. About what? I asked. About this ridiculous situation you've created, she said. You turned my entire family against me. No, I said. You had them asking invasive questions because you lied about needing money for car repairs when you were actually going shopping. She flushed. I don't have to justify my purchases, she said. Yes, you do, I replied. When you lie to family members about emergencies to fund those purchases, you kind of do. She accused me of being controlling and obsessive about money. I reminded her that I'd asked about one credit card statement, $800 in 1 month. That's not monitoring. That's basic financial awareness, she tried to deflect. Maybe we both overreacted. Maybe, I said. But this pattern isn't sustainable. You can't treat me like garbage until you need something, then flip a switch and expect everything to be fine. She asked. So what do you want? I want you to understand that actions have consequences, I said. And the consequence of treating your husband like he doesn't exist is that eventually he starts considering whether he actually wants to exist in this marriage. That got her attention. She stood abruptly. Fine, you want to throw away 8 years of marriage over a stupid fight about money? That's your choice. Maybe I will leave, I said. And when I do, don't come crawling back. She stormed upstairs. Drawers slammed. Closet doors banged. An hour later, everything stopped, and when I went to bed, she was still there. Because threatening to leave only works if the other person is afraid of losing you. After 3 weeks of being treated like I didn't exist, I was beginning to realize losing her might not be the worst thing that could happen to me. Friday morning, she was gone. No note, no text, nothing. I found out where she went when her mother called that afternoon. She had shown up at her parents' house with 2 suitcases, crying about how I'd kicked her out and wouldn't let her come home. Her parents told me what they heard. They weren't thrilled. They refused to bankroll tantrums. They felt embarrassed by her behavior. Her friends weren't exactly sympathetic either. A couple of them even suggested counseling. Saturday passed quietly. No calls, no drama. I cleaned the house, did some yard work, and enjoyed the peace. Monday, her brother called again and said she wanted to work things out. I told him she needed to reach out herself. I had made up my mind about what I would and wouldn't accept. No more silent treatment. No more financial dishonesty. No more lying to family. And no more planning expensive events and assuming I'd just pay. Tuesday afternoon, she came home. She stood in the doorway with the same 2 suitcases. "We need to talk," she said. "I've been thinking about what you said." She admitted maybe she'd handled things badly. Maybe the silent treatment wasn't the right way. Maybe the money lies were wrong. She said she was sorry. I looked at her for a long moment. "Do you know why I missed your birthday dinner?" I asked. "Because showing up would have sent the wrong message. It would have told you that you could treat me however you wanted and I'd still be there when you needed something. That's not a marriage. That's a one-sided relationship with a doormat," she flinched. She said she understood. I told her if this happens again, I won't be here when she's ready to talk. She set down her suitcases. "So we're okay?" she asked. "We're starting over?" "Yes," I said, but with clear expectations. No silent treatment. No financial surprises. No lying to family. And if you have a problem with something I do, you use your words like an adult. We've been 6 months past that birthday dinner now. We still disagree, but we talk about it. We work through it. When she gets frustrated, she uses words instead of silence, because she finally understands that marriage isn't a game where the person who cares less wins. It's a partnership where both people choose to show up every day with respect and honesty. Respect isn't something you demand. It's something you earn by refusing to accept anything less. And sometimes the best way to save a marriage is to be willing to lose it. If you made it this far, please consider subscribing. It helps us a lot. I've picked 2 other videos I think you'll like. Click one, and I'll see you in the next story. See you soon.